Something is breaking apart inside the most famous family in the world, and this time it cannot be patched over with a press release or a carefully staged public appearance. The British monarchy is in the middle of a quiet revolution. Not the kind with protests in the streets or votes in parliament, but the kind that happens behind closed doors, in hushed conversations between advisors, in ultimatums delivered across palace corridors, and in the slow, deliberate transfer of power from one generation to the next. King Charles is stepping back, Prince William is stepping forward, and Queen Camilla, the woman who waited decades to wear the crown, is finding herself increasingly shut out of the future she thought she had secured. This is not gossip, this is not speculation. This is what is happening right now inside Buckingham Palace, and once you understand the full picture, you will never look at the royal family the same way again. There are moments in history that don't announce themselves. They arrive quietly, almost without warning, and then, only in hindsight, do you realize that everything that came after was different from everything that came before. February 19th, 2026 was one of those moments. On that day, Prince Andrew, Duke of York, son of the late Queen Elizabeth, brother to the reigning king, was arrested. The charges, allegedly sharing classified government documents with individuals connected to the Jeffrey Epstein network. The arrest sent shockwaves not just through the palace but through every corridor of power in Britain. For most people, it was breaking news. For Prince William, it was the moment he had been dreading and preparing for nearly a decade, because here is what the headlines did not tell you. William saw this coming long before anyone else was willing to admit it. As far back as Andrew's catastrophic 2019 BBC interview, the one in which he awkwardly tried to explain away his friendship with a convicted sex trafficker, William went directly to King Charles and to the late Queen Elizabeth and told them plainly Andrew needed to be removed from royal duties immediately. Royal biographer Russell Myers, author of William and Catherine, confirms that palace aides had been raising red flags about Andrew's behavior for years before that interview. William took those warnings seriously when others dismissed them. He told senior royals in no uncertain terms that protecting the monarchy had to take precedence over protecting family members who were actively damaging it. He was ignored. The Queen, loyal to her son in the way only a mother can be, refused to take decisive action. Charles, still Prince of Wales at the time, found himself caught between his duty to his mother and his growing alarm about his brother, and so the problem was pushed aside, managed, contained, until it could no longer be. Now, in 2026, everything William warned about has come true, and the man who was ignored is now the man in charge. To understand why William's authority has grown so rapidly, you have to understand the position Charles is in, and how much has changed since he finally became king. Charles III ascended to the throne in September 2022 at the age of 73, the oldest person ever to take the British crown. He had waited longer than any heir in history for that moment, and then just 17 months into his reign came the diagnosis that changed everything. In February 2024, King Charles was diagnosed with cancer. The specific type has never been publicly confirmed. What is known is that he began treatment immediately and has continued that treatment through 2024 and into 2025 while still attempting to carry out his royal duties, a balancing act that has visibly taken its toll. Then, just weeks after Charles's diagnosis, came another blow. Princess Kate announced that she too had received a cancer diagnosis following abdominal surgery, and would be stepping back from public duties while undergoing preventative chemotherapy. In the span of a few weeks, the two most important figures in the monarchy's future had both been struck by serious illness. The institution that was supposed to project stability and permanence was suddenly looking fragile and uncertain. It was against this backdrop that the accelerated succession plan began to take shape. Sources close to the palace indicate that Charles began seriously considering the transfer of key responsibilities to William by late 2025. According to Closer Weekly, an insider noted that while Charles is stubborn by nature and had waited his entire life for the role, those around him recognize the reality. that William and Kate would likely be assuming the full weight of the monarchy far sooner than the official timeline suggested. The transfer has not been formal or publicly announced. Palace officials have denied that any quick transition is planned, but the evidence tells a different story. In 2025, King Charles granted William and Kate the authority to issue royal warrants, now the right to publicly endorse products and brands on behalf of the crown. It may sound procedural, it is not. Previous monarchs have fiercely guarded that privilege. Extending it to William and Kate was a quiet but unmistakable signal about where power is flowing. More significantly, William is now a partner in virtually every major decision affecting the monarchy. In some cases, according to royal insiders, he is the one making the decisions outright. A source told News International, Charles is not only helping William realize his potential, but is also guiding him to make wise choices during this crisis, knowing that the future of the monarchy rests with the Wales. The unspoken truth that everyone inside the palace understands, even if it has never been said publicly, is this. At 77 years old and fighting cancer, Charles knows his reign may be shorter than anyone is prepared to admit. The succession plan is not a future event. It is already happening. Prince William is not simply preparing to take over the monarchy, he is preparing to transform it. His vision is radical by royal standards. He wants the monarchy to operate more like a modern institution, one built on transparency, accountability, and clear lines of authority, rather than the opaque, tradition-bound culture that has defined it for centuries. He has already put this model into practice with the Royal Foundation, the charitable organization he runs with Kate. It has a CEO, it has a board of directors, it publishes its goals and reports its progress publicly. William intends to apply that same philosophy to the monarchy itself. In October 2025, during a conversation with Canadian actor Eugene Levy, William said directly, "Change is on my agenda." He acknowledged it would be difficult, that the challenge lies in bringing gradual change to an institution that is supposed to represent continuity, but he was clear that it was coming. One former royal aide captured the tension perfectly, comparing the monarchy to a jar of Marmite. The label has looked the same for years, but what's inside has changed many times over. William understands that the changes he wants to make must be subtle enough not to alarm those who value tradition, while still being meaningful enough to matter. His management of the Duchy of Cornwall, the large estate he inherited when Charles became king, offers a preview of what that looks like in practice. People who work closely with him describe a leader who constantly questions why things are done a certain way, who demands clear reasoning behind decisions, and who holds people accountable in a way the palace has not been accustomed to. As one insider put it, accountability is at the heart of everything the prince and princess do. They want the monarchy to be known for doing well and benefiting others. It must be fit for purpose. That phrase, fit for purpose, is key, because for William, the Andrew scandal is the ultimate proof that the old way of running the monarchy is broken, and he has no intention of inheriting a broken institution. Here is where the story takes its most unexpected turn. The biggest obstacle standing between William and his vision for the monarchy is not a political rival or a hostile press. It is Queen Camilla. At the center of their conflict is a woman named Sarah Ferguson, the former Duchess of York and ex-wife of the now arrested Prince Andrew. Sarah's name appears in documents released by the U.S. Department of Justice related to the Epstein case. While there is no evidence of wrongdoing on her part, the documents reveal that she had contact with Epstein and during a period of financial difficulty appeared to solicit money from him. In one email from October 2009, she wrote to Epstein simply, "I urgently need 20. The full amount is unclear. The association, however, is not. William's position is straightforward and uncompromising. If the Queen of England is maintaining a close personal friendship with the ex-wife of a man arrested for crimes connected to the Epstein network, it creates an image problem that no amount of public relations management can fix." According to Radar Online, William believes the only safe strategy is a complete and immediate severing of ties. Not a distancing, not a quiet cooling off, but a full and visible separation. Camilla disagrees, and this is not a small disagreement. This is a fundamental clash of values that goes to the heart of who these two people are. Camilla and Sarah Ferguson have been friends since the 1970s, decades before either of them became part of the royal family. For Camilla, the idea of ending that friendship because of guilt by association feels deeply wrong. She values loyalty. She has lived through enough public scrutiny herself to understand that being connected to scandal does not make someone guilty of it. The conflict sharpened in October 2025, when Camilla was reportedly involved in the decision to strip Andrew of his titles, a decision that notably she helped push through on her own terms, rather than simply following William's lead. It was a show of independence that William appears to have interpreted as resistance rather than cooperation. And so when Camilla attempted to demonstrate her commitment to abuse survivors by publicly meeting French rape survivor Giselle Pellico in February 2026, the response on social media was immediate and brutal. Commenters accused her of hypocrisy, of claiming to stand with victims publicly, while privately maintaining friendships with people linked to those who created those victims. The narrative around Camilla is shifting, and William knows it. Beneath the conflict between William and Camilla, a quieter but equally significant power struggle is playing out, one between Princess Kate and the Queen Consort herself. When Andrew's arrest sent the palace into crisis mode, it was Kate, not Camilla, who stepped in. According to sources cited by the National Examiner, Kate worked tirelessly behind the scenes following the arrest. She coordinated with palace staff to shape the public response. She consulted with legal advisors on the best approach to managing the fallout. She worked alongside William to ensure that every statement, every appearance, and every decision aligned with a coherent strategy. She did not wait to be asked. She simply acted. Camilla watched this unfold and did not respond well. Sources indicate that she felt sidelined, that Kate's decisive involvement made her and Charles appear incapable of managing the crisis without assistance from the next generation. She reportedly told those close to her that the last thing Charles needed was for the world to see him needing Kate's help. Charles, for his part, defended Kate. According to the same sources, whenever Camilla criticized Kate's involvement, Charles responded that Kate was only trying to help and that the help was welcome. This has only deepened Camilla's frustration. The pattern that has emerged is telling. When William and Kate appeared at public events in the immediate aftermath of Andrew's arrest, they projected stability and confidence. They were visible, they were composed, they were clearly leading. And when statements needed to be coordinated or decisions needed to be made at palace meetings, it was Kate who was in the room. Camilla was not. There are now murmurs, not yet widespread but growing, that Charles should consider stepping down in light of the ongoing scandal. Those calls have not gained significant traction, but the fact that they exist at all speaks to how fragile the current situation is. The assessment among some insiders is pointed. Many believe Camilla should be kinder during this time. It is entirely plausible that Kate and Prince William could take the throne sooner than anyone expected. For Camilla, the choice is becoming unavoidable. Defend her position as Queen Consort and continue to clash with the next generation, or accept that the tide has turned and step back gracefully. Neither option is comfortable. Neither option is guaranteed. In late February 2026, Prince William stopped being indirect. According to multiple sources, William confronted Camilla directly over her continued friendship with Sarah Ferguson. The message he delivered was not a suggestion, not a recommendation, and not a diplomatic request. It was an ultimatum. Choose, he told her, to publicly distance yourself from Sarah Ferguson, or accept responsibility for the damage that association continues to do to the monarchy's reputation. Think about what that moment represents. An heir to the throne, a man who is not yet king, delivering a direct and unambiguous demand to the reigning queen consort. This does not happen in the normal order of things. Heirs do not issue ultimatums to queens, except that these are not normal times, and William is not operating as a normal heir. Royal insiders confirm that King Charles has given William final authority over decisions related to the Andrew scandal and the broader question of the monarchy's reputation. This is not rumor. This is a deliberate and formal transfer of decision-making power from the current king to the future one, made necessary by the convergence of Charles's declining health, the severity of the crisis, and Charles's own recognition that William's instincts on these matters have consistently proven correct. Charles supports William's strategy. He has said so privately, but Camilla does not. And that disagreement has left her increasingly isolated within the institution she spent decades trying to join. When she met with Giselle Pellico and faced the social media backlash, it exposed how untenable her position has become. She cannot credibly champion victims of abuse, while the question of her friendship with Sarah Ferguson remains unanswered. William has made that calculation, and now the public is making it too. His position is absolute. The monarchy must cut all ties with anyone connected to the scandal. No exceptions for family, no prioritizing personal loyalty over institutional stability. If Camilla cannot accept that, if she continues to resist, William has made clear that he is prepared to work around her, reduce her influence, and wait for the moment he becomes king and Kate becomes queen consort. That moment, according to almost everyone paying attention, may not be far away. What comes next? A monarchy reborn, or a monarchy at risk? What is unfolding inside Buckingham Palace right now is not simply a family disagreement playing out on a very public stage. It is the visible transformation of one of the world's oldest institutions in real time. Prince William is preparing for a reign that will look nothing like what came before it. When he takes the crown, the monarchy he leads will be smaller. Fewer working royals, sharper focus, tighter accountability. It will be more transparent. It will be run more like a modern organization than an ancient court. And it will have absolutely no tolerance for scandal. The days of managing crises quietly, of protecting family members from consequences, of allowing personal loyalties to override institutional responsibilities, those days are over. William has told his close associates directly. Anyone who brings scandal to the monarchy, regardless of their relationship to him, will be removed. The message is for everyone. There are no exceptions. When Kate takes her place as queen consort, her role will be unlike anything we have seen in recent royal history. She is already functioning as a co-strategist, a crisis manager, and a decision maker. That partnership with William will only deepen. But the monarchy must survive the present before it can inhabit the future. And the next several months will be critical. The Andrew scandal is still unfolding. Criminal charges remain possible. New revelations could emerge at any moment. Every decision the palace makes between now and the resolution of this crisis will either strengthen or further erode public trust in the institution. The stakes have never been higher. As one source put it, right now the family and the country need stability, but there will be a time when William brings in the changes needed to ensure accountability and purpose. That is key to his role and to the role of the institution itself. Here is where things stand today. Charles is the king, but William holds the real power. Camilla is the queen consort, but Kate is shaping the strategy. The older generation is still officially in charge, but the new generation is already governing. A man who warned everyone about this crisis years before it arrived has now been handed the authority to resolve it, and the way he resolves it will define not just his reign, but the fate of the British monarchy for generations to come. Because at its core, this story is not about Andrew's arrest, or Camilla's friendships, or Charles's health. It is about whether the British monarchy has the courage to hold itself accountable, to become worthy of the trust it is asking the public to extend. William believes it does. He is betting everything on it, and history is watching. What do you think? Is William right to demand a complete break from anyone connected to the scandal? Should Camilla choose the monarchy over a decades-long friendship? And could this crisis push Charles to step down sooner than anyone expects? Share your thoughts below. The conversation happening in the comments on this one is going to be worth reading.